Hello students, today we're going to look at the solution to number 13. This is the second long answer question, part of your sample quiz, chapter 8, at the end of book 3 in your 1026 booklets. So let's get right to it. For triangle ABC, find the measures of angle A and angle B to the nearest degree if A equals 18 centimeters, B is 7 centimeters, and C is a right angle. Now, where the diagram's not given, you'll be awarded the marks for that, of course. So the first thing you should probably do is draw the triangle. So let's do that. Let's draw any right triangle, doesn't matter. So I'll just make sure it's one with a right angle. Alright, so close enough. So there's my right triangle. Now, label it according to what's given. We know C is the right angle, so put your right angle in first. Okay, angle C is the right angle, so this has to be C. Now it doesn't matter what the other two are. Okay, you can put A here, B up here, it doesn't matter. Now, important though where you put the sides. If this is angle A, if you've labeled that angle A, then this side opposite it is small a. Small a is opposite big A. So if you call that big A, or capital A, or uppercase A, this vertex here, then this side has to be little a. Okay, which means this side is 18 centimeters, because A is 18, right there. And B is 7 centimeters, so where's that go? Well, B, again, if this is angle B, which you've labeled it, then opposite that must be lowercase b. Alright, so that's how they label the triangle. So this must be 7 here. Okay, now you're asked to find angle A and angle B to the nearest degree. Nearest degree means no decimals, round off. Okay, so let's find. We have to decide what we're using. So let's pick an angle and go to it. Well, let's pick angle A first. Okay, if I pick angle A, then I know that 18 is opposite that side, right? So this is opposite, and I know this is the opposite. The right angle is the hypotenuse. Now we don't need this one because there's no measure given for the hypotenuse, but that does tell us that 7 must be the adjacent side. Okay, so now we have to decide if we're going to use the 18 and the 7. That means we're using the opposite and the adjacent. So you have to choose which one of the 3 trigonometric functions. I'm writing all 3 down here. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Right? This is cosine theta. We know is adjacent over hypotenuse. And these all have to be, you should have these memorized by now, right? And there's different ways of memorizing them. Opposite over adjacent. A, D, J. So, let me rewrite that last one, a bit messy. So how do we do that now? Which one do we use? So do I use sine, cosine, or tangent? So you have to make that choice depending on the sides given. Now remember what sides we just talked about. We're talking about sides opposite, 18, and adjacent, 7. They're the 2 known sides. But yeah, that's right. We're going to use tangent. Okay, so there's opposite over adjacent. So that's the one we have to use. Now you write the word tangent, or tan, abbreviated, then the angle. Now we don't know the angles. It's the tan of the angle, but we're looking at angle A. So you just write the letter for it. The tan of angle A is equal to the opposite side divided by its adjacent side. Now, we have it set up correctly. Now we have to find the angle. Remember, if you're looking for the angle, we always have to use the inverse sine button. So this is the button we have to use anytime you want to find an angle, or cos to the -1 or sine to the -1 if you're using those. So we have to make that into the tangent. Now remember the way we wrote it, that therefore if the tan of A is 18 over 7, then the angle A is the inverse tan of that ratio. 18 over 7. Okay, so that's all we do. We plug that into our calculator. So go inverse tan. Now inverse tan is above tan. It's the blue, so you have to hit the blue button first, and make sure tan to the -1 pops up, which is inverse tan or arctan, whatever way you want to say it. And then put in your ratio 18 divided by 7. Close bracket, enter. So it's 68.75 degrees. Now remember your instructions. Round to the nearest degree. So that's going to be 69 degrees. So angle A is 69 degrees. So we got one of them worked out. There's A right there. Now how do we find angle B? Now you could use trig again, but it's much simpler if you use the idea that the three angles of a triangle add up to 180, or the two angles of two acute angles of a right triangle are complementary. If this is 90, right, and it adds up to 180, that means A plus B must add up to 90, because all three of them would add up to 180, right? So we know that the two acute angles, right, so angle A plus angle B, I'll put the angle symbol in, must add up to 90 degrees. Okay, the two acute angles, in other words, all three add up to 180 because C is 90. So therefore angle B is simply going to be 90 minus angle A, which is 69 degrees. So just get the complement of 69, and when we subtract that, of course, we get 21 degrees. So angle B, so B is 21 and A is 69. And there's the answer to number 13.